The movie starts by showing a man named Hank who works at a small store in a quiet town. He's married to Sarah, who is going to have a baby soon, and they're happy. One day, Hank goes out with his brother Jacob and Jacob's friend Lou, who drinks a lot. While they're driving, a fox suddenly runs in front of Jacob's truck, causing them to crash. Lou wants to chase the fox into the woods and kill it. In the woods, the men talk. Lou seems to be jealous of Hank and accuses him of acting better than them. Then they find a crashed plane with a dead person inside and a bag of money. Hank wants to tell the police, but Lou says they should keep the money. Hank is worried they'll get in trouble, but he agrees to keep the money until spring. If nobody comes looking for it by then, they'll share it and leave town. They gather up the money and take it to Jacob's truck. Suddenly, Sheriff Jenkins comes over to talk. Jacob mentions they heard a plane, and Hank quickly interrupts, feeling uneasy. Hank gets mad at Jacob and Lou for trying to make it seem like they're innocent by mentioning the plane to the sheriff. Later, Hank takes Lou to his wife Nancy's house. They decide to keep the money a secret from their wives. But when Hank gets home, he shows Sarah the money right away. She suggests they put some of the money back at the plane site so if it's found, people might not look for the rest. The next day, Hank and Jacob go back to the plane to put some money back, but they don't tell Lou. While they're there, they meet an old man named Dwight on a snowmobile. Jacob gets scared and accidentally hits Dwight, thinking he killed him. Hank tries to hide the body, but Dwight wakes up. Hank ends up smothering him to protect Jacob. Jacob feels guilty and wants to confess, but Hank admits he was the one who killed Dwight. They hide the body by driving the snowmobile off a bridge. Later, Jacob takes Hank to their old family farm. He suggests that when they can use the money, he wants to buy the farm and run it. But Hank disagrees, saying it ruins their plan and that Jacob doesn't know how to run a farm. Jacob then blames Hank for the family losing the farm because their father spent money on Hank's college education. While all this is happening, Sarah investigates and finds out that the money they found was actually from a kidnapping, not from a drug deal like they thought. This makes Hank even more worried, especially because one of the kidnappers might still be around. Later on, Lou asks Hank for his share of the money. Hank lies and says it's in a storage locker far away. Lou then admits that Jacob told him about Dwight's murder and threatens to tell the sheriff if Hank doesn't give him the money. After Sarah gives birth to their baby, she suggests to Hank a plan, to go out with Lou and Jacob, and trick Lou into falsely confessing to Dwight's murder. They plan to record this fake confession. Hank asks Jacob to join in, but Jacob is hesitant to betray his friend. Hank promises Jacob that if he helps, they can buy back the family farm. Hank and Sarah invite Jacob for dinner. During the meal, Hank and Jacob talk about their father. Jacob reveals that their father didn't die accidentally but committed suicide so the family could get insurance money. The following night, Hank and Jacob take Lou out, pretending to celebrate getting the money. Lou seems friendly to Hank, but he's still obviously upset. Jacob is quiet and clearly mad at Hank for making him be part of this plan. They go to Lou's house and continue talking. When Lou leaves the room, Hank tells Jacob to push Lou into confessing. Jacob gets mad at Hank. When Lou comes back, Jacob starts making fun of Hank, and Lou finds it funny. Then, Jacob suggests they pretend Hank is confessing. Lou, who is drunk, goes along with it and says he killed Dwight. Hank shows Lou the tape recorder and plays back the fake confession. Lou argues that nobody will believe it. But Hank says people trust him because he's respected in town, while Lou isn't. Lou gets angry and points his shotgun at Hank, demanding the tape. Jacob grabs his rifle from the truck and points it at Lou's wife, Nancy, comes downstairs and pleads with him to stop. Lou fires a shot close to Hank's head, seeming ready to kill him. Suddenly, Jacob shoots Lou in the head, killing him. Nancy is shocked. Hank tries to calm her, but she grabs Lou's shotgun. Hank takes it from her, but she grabs a pistol from the kitchen and shoots at Hank. He shoots back, killing her. Hank convinces Jacob, who is very upset, to tell the police that Lou shot Nancy, and Jacob had to defend himself by shooting Lou. Jacob agrees, and they escape once again. Some time later, Sheriff Jenkins unexpectedly arrives at Hank's house at night. Hank fears he's been caught, but it turns out the sheriff found Jacob drunk at Lou's place. Hank brings Jacob in, who is clearly upset about the violence they've been involved in. Later, Sheriff Jenkins calls Hank to his office, where he introduces FBI agent Neil Baxter. Baxter explains that they're searching for a missing plane, and since Jacob mentioned the plane to the sheriff before, they ask if Hank can help with the search. Hank agrees nervously. At home, Hank tells Sarah about Baxter's involvement. She's convinced Baxter is one of the kidnappers. Hank suggests burning the money, but Sarah insists they keep it, listing all the things they could do with it. Hank reluctantly agrees not to burn it. Hank goes to the sheriff's office for the search with Jenkins and Baxter, but Jacob doesn't show up. Sarah calls, saying she checked with the FBI and there's no Agent Baxter. She warns Hank to flee, fearing Baxter will kill them once he finds the plane. Hank buys time and takes a gun and various shells from Jenkins' cabinet. They reach the woods, and Jacob shows up after talking to Sarah on the phone. The sheriff gives Hank a whistle, instructing them to signal if they find the plane. They split up to search, but Jenkins discovers the plane and signals with shots. Hank panics, warning Jenkins about Baxter, but Baxter shoots and kills Jenkins. He then demands Hank's money and forces him into the plane to get it. Inside the plane, Hank struggles to load the pistol with the wrong shells. Eventually, he manages to load one. He exits the plane with a small portion of the money he returned earlier. Baxter inspects it, and Hank pulls out his pistol. Despite Baxter surrendering, Hank shoots and kills him. Jacob arrives and sees the bodies. Hank starts to make up another story, but Jacob stops him. He's had enough and begs Hank to kill him and blame Baxter, or else he'll tell the police the truth. Tearfully, Hank shoots Jacob. Hank is brought to the sheriff's office and questioned by the FBI. They inform him that some of the money from the plane was marked. Hank realizes the money is worthless since he'd get caught spending it. Despite Sarah's pleas to keep it, he burns the money in his fireplace. In a voiceover, Hank admits he's tried to carry on like nothing happened, but the memories of the murders always haunt him.